all.
And is this possibly the last time that you're Captain America?
It is. My contract is up. I have Avengers 3 and 4. We do Avengers 3 now. 4 is the latter part of the year. And then after that, that is the end of my contract.
Marvel characters have quite literally formed the childhood of most 90s and 2000s kids. But this came to a close in 2019 with Avengers Endgame, marking the end of the Infinity Saga. Top actors of the franchise like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson also stated publicly they wouldn't be returning to the franchise. But why? Let's take a closer look. 2008 is a landmark when it comes to superhero movies. It is not that superhero movies did not exist prior to that. Obviously, we had the Dark Knight trilogy by Christopher Nolan, or the original Spider-Man trilogy made by Sony. But 2008 was the first time that either Marvel or DC started their own studio, namely Marvel Studios, and started making their own films. The landmark movie, Iron Man. And when Marvel Studios started making their own films, they were not standalone in any manner whatsoever. They had it planned out. They intended to bring all the superheroes together, and that's exactly what they did in the form of the Avengers. But fans' hearts are always stuck to the first two Avengers, the Catalyst, Captain America, and Iron Man. The characters and the actors that portrayed them, RDJ and Chris Evans, have been a part of the franchise for more than a decade, and to be fair, it would not be possible to see anyone else fill in that role. Which is why when Chris Evans' Steve Rogers passed on the mantle of Captain America to Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, the audience still found it hard to accept. Chris Evans' Captain America is the first visualization of the comic book character. He personified it. Right from Captain America, the First Avenger, the audience was hooked. But even before Avengers Endgame had come out, the audience were anticipating that this would be the last time they see their favorite superheroes on screen. Also because the actors themselves had said this would be their last venture in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Why is that so? Well, as Chris Evans eloquently put it, you get off the train before they push you off. Too much of anything never does good, and that would have been the case if they had continued. The instance where they ended in Avengers Endgame just seemed to give the perfect closure to all the characters. Their character arcs were perfect. They got a proper beginning, a middle, and an end. While Iron Man died doing what he loved, Captain America finally got to do what he always wanted. He got to go back in time and spend time with the love of his life, Peggy. He was satisfied with his life and wholeheartedly passed on the mantle of Captain America to his dear friend Sam Wilson. But have they not even thought about making a reappearance, even in a cameo role? Well, obviously they have, but Chris Evans feels that that is a space where they should tread lightly. He said this taking into consideration the wonderful ending his character got. If he were to make a comeback, that would mean that he's risking ruining the perfect ending. Plus, for every actor, their main objective is to get better as an actor, improve their acting portfolio, and do as many diversified roles as possible. When it comes to Chris Evans, even before he became Captain America, he was part of the Fantastic Four franchise. After that, he was directly recruited to play Captain America, a role he played for over a decade. Continuing any further also means running the risk of being typecast. Was the decision easy? Obviously not. Being the part of a franchise like the MCU came with its own perks. Chris Evans said in an interview that while he was part of the franchise, it kind of brought with it the guarantee of a next film, and life after that has been quite different. You know, it's different. It's different. For 10 years, you always have a movie around the corner. For 10 years, it's always you finish one and your life is scheduled by, okay, 6 months, we have press. 6 more months, we start up on the next movie, he said in an interview. Right now, life post-MCU means that he's in open waters. There's no guarantee of a next film, but the uncertainty also has a thrill to it. In the same interview, he also stated that he does miss playing Captain America, and it would be a role that he holds close to his heart always. He also called the 10 years he was part of the MCU as the best 10 years in his professional life. At this point, this is a statement that in reality is quite funny, when we take into consideration the fact that Chris Evans, in reality, was actually planning to turn down the role in the first place. In fact, he had turned down Kevin Feige and Marvel multiple times before finally accepting the role. The reason, he stated, was that he had experience working for a franchise in the form of the Fantastic Four. Keeping that in mind, the reluctance was justified. Eventually, he only accepted the role because of his mom and RDJ convincing him. What happened next is, as they say, history. If we look at Captain America's journey in the MCU, we can see that he has acted in over 10 films, including Captain America, the First Avenger, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Homecoming, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel. In this duration, the character has grown along with the actor, and has traveled in its own arc. As his story came to a close in Avengers Endgame, the mantle also passed on to the most deserving candidate, Anthony Mackie. Talking about his successor, Evans said the following in an interview: "No one better to do it. I mean, he honestly does it justice. I'm so proud of him. I can't wait to see what they do in the future with it. But if there's any tear shed, it's just for the sweet memories I had." In fact, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has also come out with a show with Sam Wilson as Captain America, named Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that streams on Disney+. And it wasn't an easy transition for Marvel as well. Although the transfer of the mantle was made successfully, the creators now need to find a way to establish Falcon, or Sam Wilson, as the new Captain America. This would take a bit more thinking than the plain old writing. Plus, at this point, it seems like a necessity for Marvel to somehow bring back Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and others that helped form the MCU in the first place, mainly because it is a fact that Marvel's viewership has gone down since the ending of the Infinity Saga. This could be attributed to two factors mainly. One, Marvel is practically mass-producing content at this point of time to an extent that the audience don't get enough time to process the content. Two, the audience has an emotional attachment to the heroes from the Infinity Saga, and bringing new characters to take over their position should be a slow and gradual process. Although Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a success, there's no telling how much fans miss their original Captain America. In fact, fans are already asking for his return to the role, even if as a cameo. Now, there might be some good news related to that as well. Word around the dock is that there is a chance Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Scarlett Johansson make their way back to the MCU, even if it is for a brief stint. In the Chicago Comic-Con, when he was asked about his return to the cinematic universe, Evans peevishly said that there are more stories to be told about Steve Rogers. Now, this may not essentially mean that he would reprise the role of Captain America again, but hey, can you really separate Steve Rogers and Captain America? But if the show does happen, then it's more than likely that it tells the story of Steve Rogers as he went back in time to return the Infinity Stones and the time he spent with Peggy Carter. As with Chris Evans, his life and filmography have only boomed post his stint with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. His exceptional performance as Captain America gained him the attention of multiple filmmakers, and he's gone on to star in multiple films like Knives Out in 2019, Don't Look Up in 2021, Lightyear and The Gray Man in 2022, and Ghosted in 2023. He's also the producer of Ghosted. Whether Chris Evans will return as Captain America is a question to which we don't have a sure-shot answer as of now, but we sure hope we get to see our favorite star-spangled hero don the shield for one more time. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. Let us know your favorite Captain America moment in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye!